All right, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Pregnancy Movie Reviews. And today we are going to review a really terrible, bad movie. Now, you probably should already know the title. I'm going to sit here and say. I do remember reviewing the first movie called The Human Centipede on Shadows and Pretties back I think in 2020 or 2021. I can't honestly remember, but I did review it around that time. And I did say that I wasn't going to uh, touch the other Human Centipede movies because the second one, I will say, is is just as is worse than the first one. That's what I can summarize. The the second movie is that it's worse than the first one. Now, but I feel that I should talk and touch this movie because this one involves um a pregnant woman. Now, I will be getting into that in a bit, but when I first saw this movie, my blood was boiling. Like it was boiling with, rage. I was grossed out because this one is a lot worse than the first movie. I will say it's a lot worse than the first one because there is a lot more gore and stuff, but it is black and white, so yeah. However, there is a colored version of this, that colored version release that was made, but this film basically involves, well, I'm going to talk about the plot of this movie but a bit. Okay. Apologies about that because apparently my dog was getting into something that he wasn't supposed to. So basically this film takes place in the UK, and it's a sequel to The Human Centipede. Now this one basically involves a psychiatrically and intelligently impaired Englishman who watches and becomes obsessed with the first movie. Decides to make his own centipede consisting of 12 people, using crude and violent techniques to connect their lips to each other's. Well, you get the idea. Of course, Ashlyn Yenny does appear as herself in this movie. So this one was just really, really fucked up. This one is just as bad as the first one, but I think this one's a lot worse. This one has violence, sexual violence, and yeah, it's just, I mean, this movie, it involves, this guy named Martin who watches the first one as he was obsessed with the film. So he's pretty much short, obese, as asthmatic, and mentally challenged. So basically, he lives in an unkept facility flat with his emotionally abused mother, who blames his father for having to put in prison for physically, psychologically, and sexually abusing Martin when he was a boy. So yeah, I can understand, that Martin went through a rough childhood. So basically, with him, having a discussion about a 12-person centipede and stuff, it's pretty messed up. So you do get to see, him pretty much, knocking out people that he plans to use for the for the centipede. So that's basically what's going on. Now, later on in the film, it all seems pretty, dandy. But however, this movie involves a pregnant woman. So basically, a pregnant woman, gets knocked out by Martin. Although Martin thinks he uh, he he pretty much um killed him. So he basically killed. He thought he killed the pregnant woman. However, later on in the film, the pregnant woman awakens and she's in labor, so she runs outside screaming. However, she gets into the car and gives birth, where Martin pursues her. But as she stomps on the accelerator to, get away, she ends up crushing her baby's skull in the process and drives away. Words cannot describe on how very fucking messed up and really my blood was boiling like crazy because of this. Like this one was just it was just pretty dis it was just I'm just gonna say it's a lot worse than the first movie. If you thought the first one was bad, well, this one is a lot worse. I'm just gonna say. And most people know when it involves a pregnant woman getting killed, the child of the pregnant woman getting killed, etc. in, violence towards a pregnant woman or child, it's just really, really messed up. And I definitely do need to sit here and say that this film is just, yeah. I definitely do need to sit here and say is that while I do enjoy, having pregnant woman, but in this movie that involves the pregnant woman dying and it involves well, not dying, but it involves her crushing her baby to death. Yeah, I mean, that's another new low, I will say. But like, why would they even put a pregnancy in a movie that is like this? Like, out of all things, why did they have to put pregnancy in a human centipede that has literally nothing to do with the fucking film? Words cannot describe on how pissed off I am because of the fact that, you know, violence was happened to the pregnant woman and violence happens to the new baby. But it's just words cannot describe on how angry I am. But why do these films continue to exist that involves violence towards pregnant women or death of them or their child, vice versa? Why? Now, I'm not going to be a hypocrite here because in some of my stories, like I might consider, doing miscarriages and that, but at least it's not, being brutal though like this movie is. And plenty of other pregnancy films that involve, a pregnant character being killed off or the baby being killed off, etc., etc. Like, who thinks, that is okay to add in the Human Centipede out of all the other franchise films that I've seen? Like, why? Like, I, uh, I mean, when I got to the part where the woman ends up killing her baby and drives away, I literally just rage quit the movie, just shut it off because I was like, you know what? I'm fucking done. I'm fucking done. But of course, I have been told about what happens at the end. Yeah. I'm gonna say I stumble across it on YouTube because, well, sometimes with these kind of movies that are pretty gory or something, sometimes YouTube allows that kind of stuff, but maybe with age restrictions. And yeah, I'm just gonna sit here and say that's where I stumbled across it because a lot of people were saying that the um, second Human Centipede was just as bad as the first one. I didn't find the first one to be that bad, but it was more not really so scary or anything, but just little movie that have no expression whatsoever. But this one, you definitely get a reaction because I literally got pissed off with the fact that they killed the baby, but they also, had violence towards the pregnant woman. I'm glad that she didn't die, though. That was something I'm really grateful for, is that she didn't die. But yeah, other than that, it's just, yeah, I'm just going to sit here and say that right now. My blood just really starts boiling every time I, you know, see, violence towards pregnant women or their child, etc. So, yeah. Okay. Now, I'm just going to sit here and wrap this up. Like, there's no pregnancy dialogue, so the pregnancy pretty much does not have any form or anything to do with the film. That's literally all I can really describe it as. I think the pregnancy was just there for the sake of throwing it in there, but that's just me personally. Now, I definitely do need to sit here and say, do not watch this film. I mean, if you want to see the second movie, Do not watch it. Trust me, it's bad. I really do have to say it's worse than the first movie. That's literally all I can describe it. I'm just yeah, I'm just gonna sit here and just say right now, this movie is just bad. But I guess with that being said, this movie gets a 0 out of 10. It is not good at all. It's terrible. It's bad. I recommend you people stay away from this movie. And for those who like pregnancy, don't even bother watching this movie. It's terrible. Like, beyond terrible. That's, I'm just gonna probably end it off here before I go ahead and end up losing you know, my mind because this movie just literally fucking broke me. It literally fucking broke me. Okay, with all due seriousness, yeah, just stay away from this movie. Anyways, with that being said, I'll be seeing you guys all in the next video. My socials are in the about page section. And as always, I will be catching you all in the next video. Peace out. And like always, I'll see you all next time. What's up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here. I want to appreciate you all for tuning into this video. And I do appreciate you guys supporting my video by giving this video likes and stuff. If you really enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're new, ring the bell for notifications to when I upload so that way you guys will get updated for whenever I upload. If you want to follow me on Twitter or DeviantArt, feel free to leave a follow on those if you are interested in following me on those socials. If you want to support my backup channel, known as Ms. Dark Shigo, feel free to subscribe to it, as a link to that will also be in the About page section. And with that being said, and that being the case, thank you so much for watching, my pretties, and as always, please, stay pretty.